Welcome back, and moving on to our second segment for today. I'm talking about tourism in Egypt, especially that we are right now, we have the Christmas time, vacations everywhere, and many people actually are very much interested to enjoy their vacation in Egypt. We have many things to enjoy, and on top of which, of course, is our beautiful sunny weather, even in winter time. So to discuss this in more details, we have Dr. Yomna Salama. She is a tourism expert. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, doctor.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
So first of all, when we talk about the competitive advantage when it comes to tourism in Egypt, the diversification of the tourism product actually added a lot in this respect.
Yes, that's very true. Egypt has been under the spotlight for the past few years because we have been developing a lot of sites, opening new museums, and also we tried our best to host many international and regional events and conferences, which made Egypt under the spotlight. And Egypt is blessed with a variety of touristic attractions, as well as different types of tourism, from the historical ones to the beach tourism, to the safari, also the religious tourism. There is no type of tourism that Egypt cannot offer.
When we talk about Egypt, we always say Egypt is a destination to all members of the family. And I think this is something of great importance, usually if you're going to spend a vacation, so you can never satisfy different generations.
The programs in Egypt here are varied in their categories as well as their age average. So we do have lots of travel agencies, local and international ones, also working in Egypt, organizing packages for young ones, for families, for ladies only, for religious groups. So Egypt is actually very well prepared to receive all type of guests and all ages from all cultures. Everybody here can enjoy according to their taste.
Also talking about the different kinds of tourism, of course, when it comes to cultural and historical, I believe that this is going to be the top competitive advantage to Egypt.
Yes, Egypt, as I always say to my guests, if you go to any country, you will find maybe from the ancient civilizations, the Greek and the Roman and the Arab or the Islamic time, Islamic Arabian monuments shared in many countries. But there is only one thing that Egypt offers and nobody else has it, which is the ancient Egyptian civilization, the oldest civilization of mankind. This is something unique about Egypt, and this is still at the highlight of all the guests all over the world. Everybody dreams of standing once upon a time in front of the Great Pyramids of Giza, the ancient Egyptian civilization, the temples, the Valley of the Kings, all this, it's only Egypt. It has to be Egypt. If you want to see that, it has to be Egypt. You cannot see it elsewhere.
Yes, of course, and especially that we now have the Christmas vacations, and we can see many people are moving into Luxor and Aswan, and these two destinations actually enjoy many beautiful ancient temples, in addition, of course, to Abydos, in addition to the Nile River, moving around and moving to or among different temples all over the Nile River in this area.
Yes, the portion of the river Nile between Luxor and Aswan, there are more than 100 cruises cruising this portion upstream and downstream. And this is a very important part of any standard touristic program, because they get to see the ancient cities and they get to see the local life, the farming agriculture society, and also enjoy being on the longest river in the world.
So, just as you mentioned, being among holiday makers from different nationalities, tell me about their impressions when they visit Luxor and Aswan, especially the famous temple of Abydos and all these areas.
all the guests that I have met till now during the 24 years of my experience in this business, all of them, without one single exception, they are amazed and they are overwhelmed. But all you see in Egypt, they are amazed and overwhelmed all the time. And of course, a lot of them, they just stand in front of the pyramids and they start to have tears in their eyes, because this is, for many people, is like a trip of a lifetime to come here, to see the ancient Egyptian civilization, to get the power and the energy, to be in those mighty temples. It's a wow moment for most of our guests. And what makes really the difference is the Egyptians, the people working in the tourism business, the tour guides, of course, my colleagues, all those people, they make the difference. They make the experience, and they actually tell us, we did not expect that to be like this. We did not expect that this will be a trip of a lifetime. And they get surprised how we are very well advanced in many things. We speak fluent all the foreign languages, from the Chinese, Japanese to English, German, French, Italians. Our Egyptian Egyptologists and tour guides, of course I'm talking about the certified and the licensed ones, they are top-notch. Most of them are guides beyond the average standard of any guide anywhere, even in Europe and in other places. That's very important. People make the difference here.
Also talking about Egypt when it comes to this diversification. Well, of course, we can see so far that Egypt has adopted a real strategy of sharing and updating people all over the world with the recent news. Like, for example, if we have new discoveries before being displayed, they are sharing with people that we discovered this to show them, and when it is going to be displayed in a certain place, in addition to all the news related to the Grand Egyptian Museum. How do you see this, and how important it is, I mean, its effect on the people?
As I said earlier, it puts Egypt under the spotlight all the time, and this is something very important. We need breaking news every time. In the international news, we need breaking news every time, spotlight on Egypt. And such things, as you mentioned, always puts Egypt under the spotlight and makes people staying abroad understand that Egypt is a safe place, Egypt is progressing, there are plenty of things that you can do, tourists are enjoying their time. This is very important, because in such a critical time where we have also some unpleasant and unfortunate political situations around and in the area, and also in other places around the world, it's important to show Egypt under the spotlight and showing that Egypt is safe. The Egyptian leadership is very capable of controlling its borders, protecting the people, the Egyptians, and of course all our guests from all over the world. So this is very important.
Usually when we talk about Egypt and about the ancient history and monuments and temples, also we include moving on to modern Egypt, because it is not less important to visit also palaces and houses that will tell us more about the history of modern Egypt as well.
Yes, modern Egypt is very important because, as I always say to my guests, the past forms the present and decides the future. So our past is very important, and it forms part of our present and current time, and it gives us the power to continue for the future. And when the people see the projects that are being undertaken now in Egypt, to talk about the modern life in Egypt, even talking about the challenges, because this happened also in the past. I mean, when we talk about ancient Egyptian civilization, 1,000 years BC, they had challenges. They had wars and campaigns, normal society, challenges of life. So today when you spot the light on the modern Egyptian lives and challenges, this is very important because this is something also they experience. And as we see in anywhere in the world, there are always challenges, and the Egyptians are today enjoying a lot of progress, as well as trying to stand and face the challenges. And the tourists will come and see this, and they will see both sides, and they will see the fancy places that we have, the fancy shopping malls, the fancy restaurants, the fancy cars driving in the elite neighborhoods in Cairo, but they will also see the local places. So they will see that and this. And this is life. You cannot really display all the good sides and the best sides, because there is no best side all the way. It's not heaven. And no country has that, by the way. Even in the most advanced developed countries in Europe or elsewhere, it's not always rosy. There are also challenges, and the people there facing other type of challenges. And this is important for the tourists to come to see this, to see the modern aspect with all its sides, both sides.
Well, actually, talking to many of the foreigners or holiday makers in Egypt, asking them about the destinations where they visited. But the point is also that they focus on what you are saying that if you want to explore Egypt, after we visit all these sites, we find it very much interesting to move around the place, to move around the city, to learn more about local people, to learn more about the lifestyle. Only by this, they are much interested to indulge in the Egyptian history.
Yeah, that's very important, but not just only by this, by other means as well. But this is an important part to indulge into Egyptian history, of course. And that happens all the time when they walk into a market, walk into a mall, sit in a restaurant, communicate with locals. We do need to train the locals how to deal with tourists more, enhance and raise the awareness about the tourism in Egypt, and so on.
Well, visitors of the Red Sea also who are moving on for recreational tourism to enjoy the sun and the water, snorkeling, all water activities over there. Also, they have the chance after the inauguration of some important museums in these cities to find out more also about history. So now I'm talking about the role of the museums, how far it is important, because we always say, or we say now, that it is not only a place to display monuments, but also it is a place to learn more about the culture and educational part.
About, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Educational part for people, to promote more awareness.
Yeah, this is important, the awareness. Raising the awareness, campaigns, schools. I have been saying for years we need to have a subject in schools among the curriculum of Egypt. It's called tourism, not history. History we do have. Every Egyptian learns about the history of Egypt in school. Throughout the 12 years of education, we all study history of Egypt. Not talking about that. I'm talking about tourism, a special subject, talking about tourism. And also educating the other people and raising their awareness who are not educated, but still they get in touch with tourists, like the horsemen, the camel men, the felucca men, the vendors in other places. Tourists get to meet those people as well. And those people, they are not highly educated. Some of them are not at all. So those people need to have also training workshops to know how to deal with the tourists, the do's and don'ts, and so on.
Well, I mean also, how do you see the role of museums for the visitors?
How, what, sorry?
How do you see the role of museums? What I meant is that now we can see in the museum, we have many sections. These sections are for hosting holiday makers, making educational sessions, talking...
Yes.
Okay.
All our museums today are offering lots of activities and workshops and lectures, but this is still again for the tourists and the Egyptians who are also educated. And this is pretty good, and you can enjoy that in the Egyptian Museum, the Grand Egyptian Museum, the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. And this is something that I do see as a very important part. And theater plays and workshops and lectures and all this. We need more of those kind of stuff, and they need to be announced on regular basis, like an agenda for those stuff. They need to announce it on regular basis. And maybe in the future there will be like events, annual events, or monthly quarter events that will be held in museums to educate people and raise their awareness and make the Egyptian citizen feel that tourism is and should be number one for our national income.
Right, Dr. Yomna Salama, thank you very much, our tourism expert. Thank you very much for joining us. And I guess with this we come to the end of our breakfast show for today. Thank you all for joining us, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all of you. And stay tuned for more coming up on Nile TV International.
مصر